Hi, my beautiful souls. How are you? It has been a while, I must say. I definitely have been recording and I'm sitting on videos that I need to put out. They're a little late, but I'm still going to put them out for you. But I wanted to dive into this topic. And this topic that I'm getting into is deep, okay? It's probably one of the deepest I've ever gone with you guys. Back to when I did confessions, but this is totally different. This is not confessions. It's about this uncomfortable topic that we don't like to talk about, right? Because we hurt, we go through things and disappointments, and I want to kind of pick your brain, or should I say, provide some insight to kind of leave you sitting with some of these thoughts. And I wrote all of this stuff down. Usually I don't. Usually I just, speak from the heart. And this topic is so needed to be addressed that it needed to be perfectly detailed and written down so you guys can take notes. If you have a piece of paper with you, you might want to write this stuff down. We're definitely getting deep, 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 and with the uncomfortable conversation is love and relationships. And so I wanted to keep the picture as simple as possible because I wanted to go in deeper. So you're probably looking at the screen and you see two hands with a bunch of hearts. That is a metaphor of how many times, we have been in relationships where our heart has been broken, right? And we've been through so much. So we feel defeated, and if you are, then you are in the right place listening to this audio. I will 100% say that this audio will definitely change your perception. If not, it will add insight. But it'll definitely give you something to think about. And so I know a lot of you guys come on here listening to me, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day. But I definitely want to tell you, you want to listen to this whole audio from beginning to end. And I guarantee it will change your life if you do. So, with that being said, let's jump into love and relationships, okay? Ooh, I just want to breathe that deep. Oh man, what can I say? Well, first and foremost, I did know that it was meant for me to come on here today as I caught the number 1111, so I said, why not? Okay. So first and foremost, love is an emotional spirit, that thing inside you that you can't define. So love is, I'll say that again a little bit more clearly. I'm sorry. Love is that emotional spirit thing inside you can't define. So I know you're like, what? Huh? It is. Definitely. We can't define it. We always try to define love, and we have all of these perceptions, misconceptions, all these things, right? Because it's everyone's perception. It's your perception, it's this person's perception. So it's so much, but it is the spirit inside that we can't define. We love it, right? We crave it, and we want to be in love. And you are human, okay? So don't fault yourself. You are definitely human. Love is everything you can't describe. I agree. I agree. You can't describe it because it's that feeling. I mean, you could say, I feel butterflies in my stomach, but you can't really describe that, you know? Love yourself. This is important. Most people have a hard time doing is love yourself and increase your self-esteem. So loving yourself increases your self-esteem. Have you loved on you first? Have you loved on you lately? Because that's so important. How can you pour into someone else if you don't love yourself, right? Whew. That was because it gets deeper as I keep going, right? Find time to love yourself and dive in it. Wow. So that's like, find time to love yourself and dive in it. Fall in love with loving you. Because how you are is a reflection of how you feel inside. And that's just the truth. This is the raw, uncut truth, okay? Oh, man. This is another deep one. We live in a generation that bases its relations on compensations. I'll say that again if you missed it. We're living in a generation that bases its relations on compensations. So you can't be open to love if you're not willing to get deep in it and dive in it, right? And before you can dive in it and go deep in it, you have to dive in it, go deep in yourself. Because that's the key. Love has no perfect reflection to be. It doesn't. And that's where loving unconditional falls. So a lot of people say, I love you or I'm in love. But can you love unconditionally? That's the truth. That's something that you want to ask yourself. Can you love unconditionally? Because it says it in the Bible. Can you love unconditionally? I don't know who your higher power is. But it's in there. Can you love unconditionally? It's that agape love. And a lot of people say that they love, but when it comes to their love comes with conditions. But when it comes to that unconditional love, that is powerful. That is powerful. And if you are able to experience that type of love, that means you are still in that love because it's unconditional. That means that you and that person are still in it. Because people have this perception of being perfect, and it's not. Love is not perfect. It's imperfect, right? Because we're imperfect. So how could love be perfect if we're imperfect? You take two imperfect souls and you put them together, right? But it doesn't make it perfect. See? Whew. That was deep right there. So love has no perfect reflection to be. It's true. Love just is not there to be perfect at all. It's about acceptance. It's about, and I feel like before you can go that mile, before you can love unconditionally and be in that, what I just said, I feel like you have to start with yourself first. I feel like the work starts within us. It's a true saying, Broken people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. Healed people healed people. I want that to stick with you for a little bit. And you're probably like, Yeah. Broken people who haven't dealt with anything, right? They feel broken inside. They hurt people. You tend to spill that over if you are jumping into a relationship. Now, what I mean by hurt people, well, people who have already had the experience, have been through the pain, instead of not dealing with that either, they go into another relationship and now they're going to hurt that person. Why? Because they haven't dealt with what they dealt with. They haven't dealt with that pain. So that's why hurt people hurt people. And broken people hurt people. But healed people can heal people. And I know you're probably like, what? You saying I do all the work, heal myself, and I got to heal someone else? No. Because it's not up to you to do that. That person has to be willing to do it. You understand? So if you are healed yourself and you can't never, here's the thing, you could be healed from situations, but healing is a journey, right? So as you're on this healing journey and you're healing, you can heal others by through your experiences. And then you could have let me not say that. Let me say, when you heal yourself, and you share the experience, that will provide insight for the next person to want to do it. Is it an easy thing to do? No. Is healing rainbows and gumdrops? Absolutely not. I have been on this journey for a while. I started, I stopped, I started, I stopped, I started, I stopped. And even when I thought I was healed from situations, I wasn't fully healed. Why? Because there's this thing called trigger. And trigger will remind you if you're healed from that situation or you're not. If something still triggers you, then you're not healed from it. Don't beat yourself up about it, though. Continue to work through it. It's okay. You gotta be gentle to yourself, Be gentle with the process and trust the process. Your work will show. The work you do on yourself will definitely show. It will show within yourself because no one else could identify that for you. No one else could say, hey, man, you changed. Hey, girl, you changed. They have that. They could, depending on if they're around you day to day, then yes. But the reason why I say don't hold others' perception or validation on your changing, right, is because then you lose the value of changing for you. So let that be this internal work that you do. Who can see internal? Only you can see the inside, the internal part. So only you will truly know that you have changed or healed from something. No one can take that from you. Okay? Whew. I just felt like I had to speak on that right there. That was deep right there. So, I'm going to dive right into it. Okay. Sorry, guys. I was in that. And yeah, so not everything is written down, as you see that I had to take a deep breath because I just spoke on, what I was feeling in that present moment. Felt like I needed to shed light and go in deeper because of what I'm saying is so deep. I have to go in a little bit more if there's some understanding with that. Yes. So, okay. Love. We're back on this, right? Love cannot be fully reciprocated because it is all based on that other person's perception of love. I have to break this little mini paragraph into two because it's too deep. And I'll say it again. Love cannot be fully reciprocated because it is based on the other person's perception of love. That does not mean that you can't have the perfect connection. Don't lose that. Does not mean you can't have the perfect connection. I feel like communication is absolute key, right? But everybody has their own perception of love, how they want to be loved, That's where transparency comes from. Transparency is that word, right, that we don't really like. We say that we are, I won't say we don't like it. It's uncomfortable. I'm here to speak truth to you guys. Transparency is uncomfortable. You can't say you want honesty. You can't say, I want honesty in a relationship, or I can handle anything. Well, one thing that people cannot handle and have a tough time, and I'm not going to say everyone, but for majority of the people, Okay? Transparency is the thing that no one, you know why? Because our egos won't let us accept the transparency. That means that I can come to you and say, hey, the other day I didn't like it when you said ... You see, so many times in life, we'll let situations like that sweep it up under the rug. We think that we're saving ourselves and saving our relationships when really we're hurting ourselves and our relationship. Because other people are not, listen, to me, that is like the poorest thing of a mind game, right? Because what happens when we're not transparent or we can't be transparent, right? And we sweep that under the rug. Another situation comes up, boom, we want to keep brushing it, right? We don't want to have this communication because we're like, oh, we're going to get into an argument. But before you sitting here thinking about the argument, can you have the conversation? Can the conversation can you be at one point where you're just both being honest and transparent with one another? Is it going to be uncomfortable? Absolutely. Are you going to get upset? You may. You're human. But if you're going to allow being human and your ego get in the way of you accepting transparency or you being transparent in your relationship, then your relationship is destined to fail. And that is why a lot of relationships end, right? Because once we start getting there, it's like, But you see, you don't realize all that buildup that you're building up is for one situation. And then you know what's so crazy? That the other person has no idea. The other person has no idea. Why? Because you have not validated the things that bother you. You haven't validated, you haven't expressed your feelings. So this is the other person living life. Hey, I love you too, living life. And then one day, they could do the most smallest, simplest thing, right? Simple. Maybe not call you something, I don't know, so tiny. And then all of a sudden, you're mad. You blow up. You blow up so big, this person is looking at you like, what did I miss? They could have forgotten to bring the milk. Something so simplicity, something so little like that. Why? Because you swept all those things under the rug. Then all of a sudden, you're going to start bringing that stuff up. That's going to spill in. Now you have a whole bunch of issues to work through. But time has passed. So how do you avoid all of that? By communicating. My beautiful souls, what I want you to understand and what I want you to leave with today is that if somebody loves you and you two are in this relationship together, not to work against each other, to work together. You have to be able to accept somebody else's feelings. Just like the other person has to accept your feelings. All we want in life is to be we want our feelings to be validated in a relationship, right? You want the other person to see you, hear you, vice versa. The other person wants the same thing. It's a love and mutual respect. But we take those things for granted, thinking that the grass is always greener on the other side. We don't want to work through it. So what we do is we end a relationship. Well, this ain't working out. It's over. Well, what was over? What's over is that you didn't want to do the work. So now that you both haven't done the work, you guys didn't fix the situation, heal the situation, whether it works or not, you guys didn't communicate it. You know what happens now? These two people who didn't work on what was going on in their relationship now then gets into another situation. What you didn't deal with then is going to come over into the next. That's what we don't realize. Your hurt, your pain, all those things that transpired before spills over. Because now you looking at the new person with all the old baggage. And that person didn't even do anything to you. That person could not even be what you're thinking they are, but you haven't given them the opportunity to show you. Because you still hurt inside. That's why I said hurt people hurt people. Love is less about possession and more about appreciation. We talked about that. It's not possessive. It's not your possession. You don't own that person. You know what I mean? It's if we could find more about trying to own somebody and appreciate them. Y'all ready for this one? Ooh. Try growing in love instead of falling in it. You heard me? Let's try growing in the love instead of falling in it. Because every time we land, our feelings advance. That is so true. Every time we fall in love, our feelings advance. We didn't even have time to grow into love because we fell in it. We're head over heels. Our feelings have advanced. We didn't grow into it gradually. Whew. This is deep. So deep. And when you see me coming off a little bit and going deeper into that, each part, that section that I'm going into, it's like, it's in my heart to just express what I see time and time and time again. So here's the thing I want to ask you. Why do you force yourself in situations you don't need to fall? Let me say that again. Why do you force yourself in situations you don't need to? Fail to realize, okay? Whoa, because that one's big. Oh my gosh. My heart is like fluttering of how deep what I'm about to say. Why do you force yourself in situations you don't need to? Fail to realize that before you pour yourself into someone, they need to hold. They need to be a vessel to hold and receive you. That's deep, right? So you can't force anything. Because when you're forcing stuff, they need to be able to be that vessel to hold and receive you. Don't let your deceitful ego mislead you. I'm going to say that again. And I'm going to rewind that little part right there. Why do you force yourself in situations you don't need to? Fail to realize that before you pour yourself into someone, they need to be a vessel to hold and receive you. Don't let your deceitful ego mislead you. Oh, that just gives me chills. Because we do this. We do absolutely this. And I tell you this was going to be deep and this was going to be a long audio. I already knew it by the topic. If you've gotten this far, I promise that the rest of it, which will be almost done soon, is worth it. It's been worth it so much so far. I've been feeling it. But so many times, we let our ego mislead us. The more you try to pour into a broken vessel, it will overflow and leak through. That's what seems to defeat you. Right? That's the part that seems to get you to feel defeated. Because you've poured into this person who is broken. But they can't even be a vessel to hold and receive you. Because they haven't even done the work that they need to. That's why hurt people. And broken people hurt people. Because you try to be the healer. Okay? So you feel defeated in the situation, and now you trying to be the healer to heal situations that you're not meant to treat through. I can't. Now, I'm sure that we all can be honest with ourselves to say that we have tried to heal situations that we are not meant to treat. We're not meant to heal them. You can't. And we have to be careful in pouring into broken vessels. Because we could be wasting our time. How much we allow and how much we let go by, it's easy for the person to continue to hurt you. Because of what you let them get through. What you let them get away with is why they stay. So it's important that you remember that. What you let get away and what you let get through and slide by, they'll stay. Because they know that they could keep doing it. So be careful, my beautiful souls, on that one. And there was one quote that I had wanted to read to you guys. And it says, when we manage to love without expectations and calculations or negotiations, we are indeed in heaven. And I felt that when I read that. And I said I wanted to share it in this audio with you guys. As we were touching on a deep conversation, love and relationships. And I wanted to do that because I haven't gotten deep in that. But I'm just watching and as time going on and progressing, and even I'm doing, even with me doing in the work. And this is how healed people could heal people, because as I'm on this journey myself, I could jump on here and touch bases and talk to you guys, because I'm sure that I'm not the only one who's ever experienced any of this. And I have experienced both sides of what I'm telling you, But let's stop living in this perception, right? You want somebody to love you, but you have conditions. There's conditions into loving you. Be careful with your conditions, right? Because when you want somebody to love you and it's your condition and your perception of how you want that person to love you, right? But the thing is, we just want it to be reciprocated. This is where we lose out on that reciprocation. We want love, but we don't want to reciprocate it in the same way. Is someone going to love you the exact way that you love them or do the same thing? This is why loving on you is so important. And that's why I had to make this audio, because love and relationships is not just about a relationship. It is about I'm sorry, guys. So I must have went over my time, and it had cut me off, and I'm back. Because we got deep in this. We got deep. So let me see if I know where I left off. We have so much of perception about love. And I was talking about reciprocation, right? People will love you, but I don't think anyone can love you the way you want, right? Because that's going to be your perception of what you need. And what you need is for you to love you. You need to love you so wholly, right? That another person into your life loving you is just an addition of love. It's not the other half of your love. It's not that love that completes you. You need to complete yourself before anyone. And this is important. And we could agree to disagree on this. Remember, right? I didn't say I was an expert. I said I wanted to speak on some things. I wanted to provide some insight. I want you to leave with this audio in your mind thinking, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're single. I want this to strike up this conversation within yourself. That is the point of this audio. I don't want to perceive to be perfect because I'm still dissecting and figuring it out, right? And that's why I said love is this emotional spirit thing inside you that you can't define. Don't lose sight of what love is trying to define it. Because love is everything you can't describe. Now, I was talking about that before. So, don't forget, love yourself first. Love yourself first and foremost. Love yourself. It's important. The only way to know or to prevent falling in love with broken vessels, right? Or falling deep into something is if you're falling in, right? Because you're falling in without any direction. But remember, physical attraction is just a distraction. Because you never really know what you get until you open the package. And that, my friends, is something we don't pay attention to. We think, oh, this guy, he's so handsome, or this girl, she's so beautiful. We immediately attract to the outer appearance of someone before we get to know what's inside, which means before we open the package, we like them. But we don't know why we like them. We just like them. Because it's all based on our perception of what we like. But we haven't even opened a package. So how do we know we like them? Say, my beautiful souls, in that moment when you ask yourself that, take time to find out. That's why you grow in the love. And I think that would be such a beautiful thing to grow in. We like to rush. Guilty. I can raise my hand and say I'm guilty of rushing and falling in love. But I have yet to grow in the love. And that is, I feel like now can happen because I'm on the journey of identifying, right? I remember having a conversation with someone and it's true, It is so easy to blame someone else. Accountability is key. And if you can't look at the roles that you play in the situations that you have put yourself in, because everything that we do is our decision. You have the power to allow and not allow, to set boundaries or to not set boundaries. But don't get upset when it doesn't work out. If we understand that we're living in a world that is experience, right? Understanding that this world, we're just here to live it and experience. So I know you're probably wondering, so does this mean... Oh, I called another number. What does this audio mean? What are you saying about love? Okay. I'm saying that love is amazing, right? It is great. It is what we strive, we want to have that person, that unconditional love, that agape love, right? That love with no conditions, because if you have conditions, it's almost like having restrictions. See, you're restricted. You're restricting the love. That's not unconditional love. That's not agape love. The love and unconditional love is the love that God has for us. So I want you to ask yourself, can you love someone else like God loves you? That's deep, right? Because most of us struggle with that. And if you struggle with that, then it's okay to do the work, to figure it out. We didn't come on this life, this earth, with a handbook. Don't get upset because you've been in situations that didn't work out. Don't be upset if you got married and it didn't work out. What is the lesson in all of this? And I know someone said to me one time, well, you know what? What is the point? The point is, there's a lesson in every situation. And it's something that we don't like to do. We don't like to look within ourselves and understand that why do we attract the people we attract? You think that it's a coincidence that you keep finding yourself in the same situation? If you are seeing yourself in the same situation, same relationships, right? Remember, you are the common denominator in every relationship because every relationship is in with a different person, correct? So with that different person, that person's not the same as the last one or the one. So who's the same as you? So that means it starts with you, my beautiful souls. This audio is not to make you feel down about yourself, not for you to be sad. This audio is for you to wake up. Wake up and start looking at what you're doing to your life. Are you comfortable? I want you to ask yourself this. Are you comfortable? Are you content? And are you happy? How can you be comfortable, content, and happy? Another person can't do that for you. And that's the importance. That's even people who are in marriages right now. People who are in relationships right now that are listening to this. Or people who are single and looking for people to do this for them. You're holding too much perception. You're holding too much conditions. It's not fair for the other person. So, my beautiful souls, I appreciate you guys listening. Am I gonna make a sorry? Am I gonna make a part two? Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm so glad that we got to talk today about this because, I listen to a lot of, Oreos and things, and this stuff really stirred up a lot of topic and a lot of content in my mind and a lot of things that I wanted to talk to you guys. And I wish you guys can talk to me back and answer. But if you like, comment down below. Let's bring this into the comments if you are open and want to share and talk about it. And if you want to be discreet, then email me, okay, at upliftingheartsandsouls820@gmail. The same way that you see the YouTube channel, you can go and at Gmail and email me. So I said Gmail or email me. Oh boy. And also, too, you can go on my Instagram page, which is Uplifting Hearts and Souls 820, and you could DM me there. And then what we can do is we can bring this and spill this conversation into part two. So I would love to know what you guys think. I would love to know how you guys felt about this topic. Did it make you uncomfortable? Did it stir up anything? Or did it ease your mind? Or did it give you insight? It's so many things that this could have done for you, and I just want to know what your experience was when you were listening to it. So don't forget to like, comment below. And like I said, if you don't want to comment below, you can DM me on Instagram, or you can email us at upliftingheartsandsouls820@gmail. So we'll definitely be looking at that. And I just want to once again thank you so much if you made it to the end of this audio. You're amazing. Thank you so much. I just wanted to give some insight. If you didn't take any notes, it's okay. Play it back if you can. Because I think that writing some of this stuff down will help you just kind of add some type of insight or, just notes just to kind of go back to, just kind of ask yourself these questions. So yes, so we'll be back soon with a part two. And I thank you so much for listening. Let's remember, my beautiful souls, let's take care of ourselves. And let's be who we would be to others, to ourselves. Be kind if you have decided to go on this journey. Be kind to yourself. It is one journey that is not going to be easy, but is well worth it. I have to say, it is absolutely well worth it. I'm on it, and do I have my days? Absolutely. Are they good and bad? Absolutely. Working through some stuff when you're working in that core work that's inside. I'm just choosing today to say that I don't want to keep spilling over broken vessels. I don't want to keep diving in love. I want to grow in it. And I know that those things are not possible unless it's, I do the work within. So that is me. Also, too, I want to leave something with you, beautiful souls, because I know some of you are probably like, well, you don't know what this person did to me and all this other stuff. You know what? When you start talking in that way, that means that you still need work that you need to work through. You got to heal from that situation. And I'm still processing things, and when you share a life with somebody, and not just in relationship, live with them or marry them, or in a relationship where you're living together, you're sharing that life with them, that partnership, whether it's someone you knew for years and just on and off, it's something that you want to take a look at. You want to look at where you're contributing to this behavior, because everything is a reflection, okay? I know that sometimes we don't like to hear that because we let our egos deceive us. We let We let our deceitful egos mislead us. Don't let your deceitful ego mislead you anymore. Okay? So, yes. Woo. This was a good audio. I feel really good about it. Felt like, it just needed to come out. And I'm grateful, if you're still on this long listening, that you got all of this information in. I thank you so much. Whether you wanted to break it up, I know it's long. Listen to it half. I encourage you to listen to it through and through. Thank you so much. Remember, let's spread more love and less hate, my beautiful souls. Thank you.